Michael Patrick Shields with you on Kentucky Derby weekend, one of those great traditions, and you hear that music in the background there. That is from the movie Somewhere in Time, which everybody in Michigan knows was shot at Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island, and in just a minute we'll talk with Dan Musser, the president of Grand Hotel. Pinnacle Racecourse, I'm sorry to say, has surrendered its thoroughbred race meet just a couple of days ago here on the weekend of the Kentucky Derby. Isn't that sad? They won't have the meeting. The license and the simulcast permit all surrendered. The track is going to stay closed for the rest of the year. It's the only one of its kind left in Michigan, and closed their doors in November, citing financial problems. They were going to reopen this spring, but that's not going to happen, and that ends months of uncertainty for state regulators and horse racers, and highlights the struggle horse tracks face from stiff competition. They've got casinos and online betting, and I guess people just don't go to the track anymore. That used to be a nice thing to do in the afternoon. And certainly they'll all be there at the Kentucky Derby this weekend, though. The post time is 6:24 p.m. The 1 1/4 mile race. It's on dirt there at Churchill Downs, another traditional spot, that twin-spired, beautiful track in Louisville, Kentucky. This has been going on for a long time now. Since 1875, the Kentucky Derby has been running. They call it the Run for the Roses, and they call it the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. It's the first leg of the Triple Crown, and they say it's wide open this year, a playground for dreamers, but all of a sudden there have been illness and injuries, and some of the top contenders have had some pretty disappointing prep races, so might be the most wide open in the 137-year history of that great American tradition. Dialed In is the morning line favorite. Now that could change by race time, but Dialed In, we understand, is the favorite. What do we know about Dialed In? It's a tradition, too, on this program to speak with Steve Haskins, one of the most recognizable and intelligent railbirds, if I can call him that. I don't know if can I say that without it being an insult? Steve Haskin, good morning to you.
Good morning. It depends if you're talking about railbird or intelligent.
The award-winning American horse racing journalist. Maybe we'll leave it at that. You're senior editor.
There you go.
The Blood.
Yeah, intelligent puts too much pressure on me.
Okay, especially this early.
Exactly.
You're senior editor at the Blood Horse Thoroughbred magazine, and in Louisville, Kentucky this morning. What's the mood like around the track this week?
Well, a lot of the mood is basically about Mo, because most people are predicting that he's going to come out of the race. In fact, there is a press conference scheduled at 9 o'clock this morning, and normally you don't announce a press schedule if you're going to say that your horse is running. So I'm guessing that they've decided to scratch the horse. That's the only thing that come up right now. They've already made a statement saying that physically the horse is doing well, and you watch him out here in the morning, and he looked great galloping yesterday. But I think he still has a touch of that GI tract infection that's probably not clearing up as fast as they want to, and you really can't take a chance. So, although it's not official yet, everyone's anticipating an announcement that Uncle Mo will be scratched this morning.
Well, there was a time months ago that Uncle Mo was considered the favorite, right?
Oh, he was considered the big favorite.
Yeah.
He was, you're talking about a horse that people were looking at as a potential superstar. So, but unfortunately, he lost that luster when it took him so long to get back to the races. He only had 2 starts this year, and in his first start was basically, a made-up race for him. He didn't go in the Tampa Bay Derby where he was supposed to go, and he won that race very easily in very slow fractions. So he didn't really get a lot out of it, and then he was upset in the Wood Memorial, and that really lost his luster from that. So, the buzz is not the way it was after the Breeders' Cup last year, or even early this year in January or February. So the favorite's role will now be dialed in. He's now been the favorite, actually, in most everybody's mind, and he's the morning line favorite. So he's obviously the horse to beat. And there was even rumors circulating about him, but you always find that at the Derby. There's rumors everywhere. He's only had 4 starts in his life, and the last horse to win the Derby with 4 starts was Exterminator, 1918. Now, a horse has won the Derby a few years ago with 3 starts, but that was Big Brown, who was a total freak of nature, and that was a relatively poor Derby field. So,
well,
you really can't compare that. But 4 starts is not ideal. You really want more foundation under a horse.
You would think so at this level and on this grand stage. You wrote the book Horse Racing's Holy Grail, The Epic Quest for the Kentucky Derby, among other books, and you worked on Wall Street. So give us some financial advice this morning, if you would. Do we take Dialed In from the 8 position as our mortal lock favorite?
Well, I wouldn't put anybody in lock, no matter who it is. But if you're looking to bet a lot of money, you certainly want to look at him in your bets. But as the favorite, I'm not a favorite player, so there's no way in the world that I would bet a horse at the odds he's going to be. I'd look for a horse who's 20-1 in this race, because I think a 20-1 shot, if you pick the right one, has as much shot of winning as a 5-6 to 1 shot. And I think the favorite's going to be 5-1. Something, the favorite in the Derby every year has been 5-1, 6-1, 4-1, somewhere in that range. Other than Big Brown. So
yeah, we've had a lot of.
I would look for a longer price. The horse I really liked was Arch until he drew the rail, which is not the ideal place to be, especially like if you look at last year with looking at Lucky. I'm still going to play him because I think he'll be decent odds, and you never know. I don't want to go off a horse because of his post position and then have him wind up with an ideal trip. He could have a disastrous trip, or he could have a good trip. So I would certainly look at him. And the few horses that have been looking good in the morning here, are Nero, I thought, is looking very well. And Midnight Interlude is looking good too. And a real long shot that I think is looking fantastic in the mornings is Pants on Fire, who's being ridden by Rosemary.
Well, Steve, don't Pants on Fire go along with a Midnight Interlude normally? I think that's a good day.
Good. Can I use that?
Yeah, that's a good perfecta. Go right ahead. Thank you for your valuable time, Steve Haskins, live from Louisville, Kentucky for the Kentucky Derby.